Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, we are continuing with game number 5 now, TSM and FlyQuest. Game number 4 was the number 1 voted one on Twitter, and I wanted to do game number 5 regardless. Have you seen Tim Dillon on Joe Rogan? Tim Dillon is fucking funny. Like right now, like if I want to recommend some comedians, I would say, what's his name? Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz is really funny. Really funny. Bill Burr. I find Bill Burr being funny. I think, what's his name? Tim Vaughn. What the fuck? Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn is fucking hilarious. Theo Vaughn is really funny. But he's weird. Like he's a weirdo. By the way, didn't he play a part in Breaking Bad? Yeah, he played a part in Breaking Bad. Mark Normand is fucking funny, man. Mark Normand is very funny. Do you know John Oliver? I don't like him too much. I like Jimmy Carr, Anthony Jeselnik. This guy is fucking funny, man. Chappelle is really funny. Anthony Jeselnik is super small, man. I mean, super smart, not super small. Do you know Tom Segura? Yes, I listen to his podcast. I don't like John Mulaney. I don't like Fluffy too. Bo Burnham is the guy who makes music, right? He makes music. It's pretty sick too. Patrice is insane. Opie and Anthony are fucking madmen. George Carlin is also a genius. The fact he releases a special every year is crazy. Joey Diaz. Trevor Noah I don't like. Trevor Noah. I'm not a fan of these PC comedians, you know. Louis C.K. is fucking funny. Ricky Gervais, I saw him live and that shit was fucking funny, man. That was fucking funny, man. Ricky Gervais was hilarious. Fucking funny, man. Anyway, let's continue with the draft. Bans, the Shenpama ban continues and Lilia ban continues, and then there's a trash ban. Interesting. Not sure what the... Hannibal Buress is alright. I think he has some good stuff. Chris Rock is a fucking legend, but he's not so active nowadays. A trash ban, I don't know. A lot of teams like to do this one. Trevor Noah, I really don't like. Trash ban, a lot of teams do. I'm not sure why, honestly. I'm not sure why. Especially when Caitlyn is out, I think the priority of trash also follows with it. Trash ban was against Ignar. Yeah, okay. Target bans, whatever. I don't care too much about target bans. I don't have the necessary information to talk about target bans and why they're useful. So bans I don't want to focus on too much. Yeah, we just move on from bans. We have Senna first pick. I prefer the Ashe, especially when you give Ashe on red side, you give the enemy an opportunity to get a better support matchup. 2 bans into support pick is very powerful. Third pick support is also very powerful. In a lot of cases, you get the counter pick support, right? In this game, you have Senna, okay. Set and Ashe gets locked in. Set is a high prio. A lot of junglers are out, whatever. You pick Set, and then enemy usually go Volibear or Graves. You have the Graves. Yeah. We've seen this message a million times, Uncle Seko. Hile-sang plays a lot of trash. We know it. Whatever. We move on. Here, Twisted Fate getting locked in. I was very surprised here. Very surprised. TSM, they lock in TF. TF can play for Graves. Usually you just want a mid laner that can play for the jungler. And this works, right? This definitely works. Like, Bjergsen is a great TF. I think in North America you get away with getting Prio, playing TF, and that makes TF so much more powerful than he really is. So, okay. We have these 3, and then you have Orianna looking into TF. I feel like here you can get even dirtier, like you can pick Sylas here. You can get a harder counter than picking Orianna into TF. It's kind of, you know, whatever. You know, it's a fine matchup. It's a fine matchup. You know, Orianna wins, but not like super hard or anything. Nevertheless, we continue. Bard gets banned, Tahm Kench gets banned. Tahm I agree with, Bard less. But then again, Bard is good into Orianna and Ashe, so it's reasonable. It's reasonable. It's not terrible, right? It's not terrible. But Bard Senna is not like the craziest lane ever. It's not the craziest lane ever. Of course, the way Bjergsen works in TF, I think it's only NA specific. I doubt he would do this if he's playing against JDG. I doubt he's going to pick TF blind against a team like DRX, because Chovy would eat him alive. This is just an NA specific thing, the same way the Zilean blind pick also works. Bifrost is one of the NA's strongest buds. Whatever. You guys don't need to give me this information. I don't care about like individual picks in that manner. I don't care too much. I look at the draft from the aspect of what it is, right? In a perfect situation. In a perfect situation. Okay. So Bard is out, Tam is out, they lock in Leona. Fine. Thresh is already banned. The only option here is Morgana. Morgana, Senna is trash. They go for Rakan. Okay, so this has to be a comfort pick as well, because Leona Ashe is very happy to play against Rakan. Like this is a hard lane matchup. Very, very hard lane matchup. So this is completely comfort, right? Completely comfort. This is crazy. This is very crazy to me to lock in Rakan against Ashe Leona. Very, very tough. Here in the first four, I would favor FlyQuest. I think it's easier to execute. And then now with Mordekaiser out, Renekton is open. Renekton, Mordekaiser and Shen are both out. There's the option of Ornn here. Ornn, is it the fifth pick? Is Ornn the fifth pick? Ornn should be the fifth pick. What did they go? GP. Okay. They just need to pick a tank. They need to pick something that's durable. This is locked in now. So they are creating liability for themselves. If they pick a tank here, Ornn, they can pick Malphite. They can pick Maokai if you want. Just pick a tank, man. Just pick a tank. Just pick a tank. GP is okay. GP is okay. Ornn was getting smashed all the series though. I think we weren't watching the same previous game. I think Camille hasn't too easy of a time against Maokai and Sion. Korea will pick Jace? No, people will pick Ornn here. People will pick Ornn or Renekton. People pick Ornn or Renekton. Here, FlyQuest, all they need to do is 2v2 mid and 2 bot. Fifth pick, durability. Durability. What gives you durability? Gangplank, sure. Gangplank fits the bill. Like, it's not terrible. Gangplank is not terrible. China picks Jax. Honestly, China picks Ornn here. China picks Ornn or Renekton here. This is some fake news in the chat, guys. You just need to pick something durable, but Gangplank is something that is way easier to dive than other stuff. Like Gangplank is not terrible. Let's make that clear. It's not terrible. But I would go for a tank here. The reason I would go for a tank is because the enemy can't really kill tanks. They can't really kill tanks. It's hard for them to kill tanks, and on top of that, the enemy team has only one AP, and that's Twisted Fate. And Twisted Fate doesn't have that much DPS output, right? TF doesn't have that much DPS output. So if you pick an Ornn, you go on Sunfire Cape, you go for Abyssal, and then you just go full armor, you're not gonna die. And then you get a Warmox armor, you get a Warmox armor, and then Camille's gonna trade into you, and then you're gonna get Warmox armor health back. And then you're happy. You're happy. Very, very happy. Just in the context of these champions, Ornn is better. But Gangplank is not terrible. A wild pick would be Malphite. Malphite would be fine too. Malphite would be fine too. It's a bit less durable, but it works. Okay? You just want to buy armor against this team. You see a Graves, you see a Senna, you see a Camille. Wow. Beautiful stuff. And then now, the key thing is, you know, FlyQuest realized the key pieces of information here. They want to play a bot side game. Gangplank can supply that. Gangplank safe side is good. It's good. Gangplank safe side is fine. It's fine. I would still say the FlyQuest is favored in this game. I would say they are very, very favored in this game. Very favored. Very favored. Ramos top. Yeah, well, it's a bit... Malphite gets ass blasted in side lane though. Well, everything is gonna get ass blasted in side lane against this. These champions are just designed to ass blast side lane. So you just make sure that you pick something that is the least ass blasted and something that is going to just scale super well into the enemy team. Is there ever situations where GP is a bad pick? It always seems like GP is at least okay. Like his ult is that powerful that he's always kind of okay. But I think Ornn is just pristine here. Ornn or Malphite. Ornn or Malphite is just 5-star here. 5-star pick. And then you'll be super happy. Because bottom matchup is very hard. This bottom matchup is very difficult. I think Ashley wins. GB is bad if you have Senna TF already. That's a good point. Mad Lions did that, and that was just a terrible game. Can you ignore side lane commit for the 4v5? T9 just said goodbye to Reapers. Oh. Really? Really? Is it on Reddit? Oh, nice. Reddit is dead. Anyway. Great. Great, everything is lagging, guys. Today we announced the departure of head coach Reapers. Thank you for all the memories, DraftKings, and achievements within the last 4 years, and we wish nothing but the best in your future endeavors. Wow. That is crazy. Wow. So anyhow, this team composition struggles against tanks. Like Camilla's fine into tanks, right? Not terrible, but just Ornn Malphite would be pristine. You play bot side game. Sunfire Cape is going to be fantastic, you know? So I still would say that FlyQuest draft is easier to execute than this one. It all comes down to Drakes and how will they play on the bottom side. So I think that's enough of a conversation about draft. We should head into the game. I think Graves is so useless against the enemy team. I think Graves is very difficult to execute. Very, very difficult to execute. Would you prefer evolution? Maybe. I'm not sure. Let's head into the game, guys. Let's head into the game. Poppy? We don't like Poppy here on this channel. We don't like Poppy here. Ornn is just better. What would you pick? Can Poppy build items? Her hammer is fucking useless in comparison to Ornn's hammer. So this should be death. But this was a dirty play. And how did FlyQuest lose this game exactly? Like, why is the game just not over now? I think TSM's comp is easier to engage. You have Ash volley and then Seth needs to hard commit. There's some key champions here that you're missing there, I see, Yux. Gangplank ult. There is Leona ult. There's Ash arrow. There's Orianna with W. There's Orianna ult. This is some madness in the on the red side. The red side draft is much better here. Much better. This should be game over. Gangplank should just give up top side and be happy. And it's game one. Even diving top is kind of hard. Like the Gangplank should be just healthy. I don't know why Gangplank is trading so heavily. He really doesn't need to. And that's it. Ignore even survives. Like, I thought he was dead here, and he even survives. Game should be lost here. I don't understand why they picked Rakan. It's quite confusing. Picking Rakan here is so dangerous. And now TSM's bot lane don't have summoners, they're slow pushing out. They will have time to push in time, I think. It will be okay. I don't understand. This is what is shocking to me. And I mean this in the most sincere way possible. How on earth is Twisted Fate getting a base timer with 3 corrupting potions on, and this is the state of Orianna? Never mind. This is not the time to bring up that question because Orianna TP'd bot. Orianna TP'd bot. This is not the time. My bad, guys. My bad. Orianna TP'd bot. He TP'd bot. Okay. We don't mind that. Oopsie daisy. GP didn't get dove. GP has a biscuit. But the wave state is pretty good. I need to take a step back and look at GP actually leashed, because that's the only way I could understand this state of the lane. Like the Gangplank leashed. Oof. Gangplank leashed. I think leashing with GP is, wow, leashing for a set. No, the leash doesn't need to happen for the dive to happen, I believe. I think he can be on time. I think he'll be okay. Like, why would you leashing with Gangplank is, yeah, it's a mad thing. It's a mad thing. Why is it that bad that he leashes? He has his passive and he doesn't get to stack grasp. Stacking grasp and controlling the wave level 1 is so important for Gangplank. Because if he loses push level 1, he's going to lose push level 2 and level 3, and that's his biggest strength. His lane state is very poor here. Very poor. Now we have the dive. But still, I would say FlyQuest is still winning here. They are winning. They should just continuously snowball into bottom side. Here, Solo needs to TP back. He needs to base and TP back. Base and TP back. But he is being a greedy McGee. We don't like greedy McGees. Still, Twisted Fate found the prio. Twisted Fate found the prio because Orianna got a late base. So this is another price that GP has to pay for the bottom dive, which is a fine price to pay. Like, it's a completely okay price to pay. Like, even now he could base and TP back, even though his base is awkward, it's something that he needs to look to do. What's wrong with you, Kenitron? Why would you say something like that? You realize that it's quite insulting. So Twisted Fate gets the prio because of the TP of Orianna, because Orianna needed to push and base second. TF is now up on top. GP needed to be aware of this because Orianna can easily call the TF as prio one wave. After this, Orianna's going to begin to push. Bjergsen goes into top side with boots and he's happy. Set is now on the bottom side. 3-man dive on the bottom. Gangplank DP does absolutely nothing on the bottom side, but Spica is also level 5 here and he's ready to defend. Here though, I think maybe if Leona has Aftershock on, that they can actually just one-shot double lift. But nevertheless, we continue. He has cleanse, so maybe they feel some sense of danger. But I think sometimes better teams could actually find the kill here, just because they spot the Graves position. Top state is very, very good for Camille, and it's important that FlyQuest actually do Drakes as fast as possible. This is something that FlyQuest did do good during the season. Top lane is completely over. Like, it's very, very bad. There's a significant item advantage. FlyQuest need to force Soul Drake as fast as possible. That's their game plan. Yes, Otter Fried Rice. Because now a Broken Blade can manage the wave in a way where any wave that crashes can be a potential dive for the GP. Let's just see if we get to see Broken Blade actually. Is he also attacking the wave? Is he pushing? Because his movement needs to be in line with what TF want to accomplish and Grey want to accomplish. It looks like here he's just auto-attacking the wave a little bit too much. And this trade he's doing onto GP also doesn't matter. Like him freezing the wave additionally is not that great. Like here on this, he needs to get dove. Gangplank needs to be dove. Like Graves needs to be here now. He needs to be here. Bjergsen is 6 now. Sacrifice next midwave. Dive this guy. Dive this guy. Dive this guy. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. TF ult and kill him. It always depends on the players, Miss L Bell. It always depends on the players. It's the same. Some people like orange juice, some people don't. Some people like the taste of water, some people don't. Right? It's always depending on the people. The same way pauses can do bad, it can also do good, and for some people it's unaffected. TSM now using this big wave that crashed into top to invade the red. At least they're getting some activity off of it, right? Some activity, and the dive can happen at a later time, so we're not too unhappy about it. It's just the bigger question is how on earth were Senna and Rakan able to stabilize? Because in some weird world, Senna is even on CS against Ashe. She had no flash, and she only had the Sapphire Crystal against double longswords, and that is very strange. That is very strange. Like, why is the Rakan and the Senna doing so well? Like this should be a game over bottom. There's no reason to try to help bottom. It's better to just... Is there a reason why Rakan and Senna would not be equal to CS? Well, they got dove and died. And they lost summoners, they only had cleanse. And after that, FlyQuest have a big, significant item advantage. The FlyQuest should just push and bounce a wave, freeze, and then the game is lost on bot. The game is literally lost on bot. And the same thing should happen top. The same exact thing should happen top. And it should be just a question of who can fuck the other the hardest. Solo with a big mistake, face checking onto this. When you're in this position in top, the only thing that you want to do is you want to hide. If the enemy is not hiding, you can hide too. If the enemy is not pushing, that's okay. You can just stay in fog of war. There's no reason for you to show. Here, there's no reason for him to go. If your top lane is in an even state and Camille is not farming and you're hiding here, or maybe you're going into here, that's okay. That's okay. You want to bait the enemy top laner to push into you. You want to make sure that Broken Blade actually has to make decisions. Double if bio laning that good, or is Welter and Ignar just bad? That could be a part of the argument too. And I say this in the most respectful way. FlyQuest will struggle at the World Championship because of the weakness of their lanes. I don't think their playstyle gives any form of longevity. Daddy Depression 96, thank you very much for your subscription. Top has been fucked since GP leashed. I think that's the lazy way of putting it. Face shaking like that with GP was a very, very big mistake. Very, very big mistake. And he has made a lot of mistakes in top. And it's not fair and reasonable to just say that just because he leashed, he lost as hard as he did. He could have TP back, he didn't need to get dove like that. There's a lot of, reasons as to why this happened. But now the game state is Camille is a fucking monster. Camille is a goddamn monster. It's just FlyQuest had no idea how to snowball through bottom. No idea how to snowball through bottom. And the steps are very straightforward. You push, and then you make sure you don't stick around too long. You make sure that the enemy doesn't get to push in all the way. And you make sure that you freeze. And when you froze, all of a sudden the enemy, what can they do? They don't win 3v3 on bottom side. TF is not 6 yet. You have all the freedom in the world to punish the enemy bot. But now, how is the bot lane on even CS? It's very strange. Very strange. They are even CS when they really shouldn't be. When I look at the North American teams, I think FlyQuest is the one that might be the most demolished. Flash for flash. Okay. That's the easy way of putting it, Exorius. Yes. Well, that's a nice way. That's a nice one. Okay, Mercury's doing a lot of work here. Mercury's being absolutely broken. Here, this is FlyQuest blowing all of their load here. Blowing a big part of their load. If they don't get a lot out of this, sucks to be them. But there's an Infernal Dragon. I think TSM tried to force a bit too hard. Like, there's never ever a reason for Doublelift to trade flashes. Because here, if Wild Turtle has fingers, then obviously you're going to trade flash for flash here. Leona's nowhere to be found, she's into top side, and Ashe is trading flash for flash. This is TSM's weak side. They don't want to play into bottom side, they don't want to pressure into bottom side. This is just them, wasting too much time to break the top tower. They got the Herald a very long time ago, and they needed to use their tempo to actually break the turret. So here is where the Herald is taken. Drake is spawning in 1 minute, so the Herald does indeed get taken quite late. So that's an issue. If they take the Herald right when it spawns, you have about 2 minutes or 2 minutes 30 seconds of leeway to break top tower, get Camille on Trinity Force, and then potentially fight for the dragon. But in this state, Camille is not involved. This is a situation where all of that advantage you have on your team is completely on Camille, and you're forcing a fight where Camille is not involved. This is a very, very common mistake in solo queue as well, where you invest all of your effort into one side and then you force fights where that effort cannot be shown or be used at all. So here Camille is in top side, right? Drake is spawning, TSM are thinking, let's play for this dragon. But now, because of the mistakes of taking Herald late and not using the Herald to break top tower, Camille cannot be involved in this. So here, Senna trading flash for flash with Ashe is not good because they are playing weak side. They're playing weak side. They're trying to fight here, but the 3v3 on bot side is a tough one to win. It's a very tough one to win. On top of that, TF has no ultimate. He used it to deflect one dive. So this is a very good opportunity for FlyQuest, and this came from TSM's hand. TSM forced this. TSM did in fact force this. So FlyQuest secures second Drake, and they get to push bottom. Senna dies. Don't you want to break bot tower and get YamatoCannon out of lane? The thing is, you can't. Realistically, you can't. Realistically, you can't because FlyQuest are stronger on the bottom side. They are stronger on the bottom side. Leona Ashe are more powerful than Senna and Rakan right now. In all-in fights, Graves can be matched to Set. They are very similar levels. And Orianna in a fight too is happy to be in that fight. Then that is so that is the case. So just imagine this, right? Imagine you have two cars, okay? You have two cars. You are going to participate in a race, okay? You're participating in a race. You spend the day before the race making sure that this one car is in top condition, okay? You put everything in your power to make sure that this car is in prime condition, right? And then the day of the race comes, you take the car that was just left by itself. And once even that car was vandalized by 4 hooligans, right? That car was punched and beaten. And while that car did well for itself, it survived quite well, right? It's even in CS. The car is even in CS. There's no reason to take that car to the race. All your work and effort is not involved in the situation that you're forcing. These cars is bot lane and top lane. Camille is in a very good condition. In this fight that is occurring, in this fight here, in this fight, GP is more powerful than Camille. GP is more powerful than Camille. And looking at it, it's quite ridiculous, right? It's quite ridiculous that this is the state of the game. You need to make sure that you involve Camille, right? The beaten car and the car that you don't work on is the bot lane. But it's a sturdy car. This car managed to be even in CS. This car managed to be even in CS, right? But your Ferrari, man, you have a Ferrari up there. You want to, your second car is a Ferrari, yeah? Your second car is a Ferrari, look at it. This car is 30 CS ahead. Beautiful. But who's the truck? Bjergsen is the truck. No, we continue. I hope this makes sense, right? So TSM are forcing a battle that on paper is losing. And that is because the Rift Herald was taken too late. And also, the Herald wasn't used to break the top tower. So the sequence of games, when it's traded, so in a sense of what can be predictable in a game, if one team plays into top side and the other plays into bottom side, the interaction that should happen is you pressure top side, you snowball the 1v1, while the enemy gets first dragon and pressure the bottom side. And then the Rift Herald clash should happen, and the key thing is the team that plays on the bottom side should be able to use their bot lane to impact the Rift Herald situation. Alright? But the top lane should be stronger, so they have opportunities to maybe TP into bot, right? TP into bot, and at the same time they have opportunities to play for the Herald because they have pressure on top side, so the timing is much easier to set up for them, right? In this case, TSM had opportunities to take the Rift Herald. 8-minute mark is very important because it's just under, the timer of where the next Drake will spawn. Right? So you have a little window where you can look to pressure the top tower and look to gain an advantage and then transition yourself into the second Drake. That is a little window that you have to use. But now Rift Herald was taken late and it makes it a little bit harder. But those timing windows are very, very slim and small. Very, very slim and small. What you can do as well is you can push in all the way with Camille and move down for one time, or you can just give up the Drake. That works too, right? Because even though this dragon is beautiful, right? The odds of Cloud being Soul is 50% here, and then of course Infernal gives you stats. But if you broke top tower here and Camille is now Trinity Force and GP is completely out of the game, that would be fantastic. That would be beautiful. What Broken Blade has been doing for the past 3 minutes, just pushing in waves, which I don't like too much, but now at least Bjergsen is in position. He killed the crab, and now he's positioned to potentially dive, because GP is just farming for free here. He's just farming for free, but he's backing off because he's afraid of TF. Your hairline makes it seem like your face is a heart. Okay, that is weird. Very weird. That's a comment right there. His face is a heart. Man, fuck you guys. Oh man. Yo. Holy shit. Alright, let's take a step back. What happened here? What happened? Alright, so here you go. Graves is channeling the Herald. We are 12 minutes. Boom, the TP is channeling. TF is committing. Senna should move into mid lane here. Senna, go into mid lane. Go into mid lane. Defend that turret. Defend that turret. GP gets smacked on the fucking snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodle got smackarooed. Now, the gold swing is insane. Let's take a look at what Camille is going to get out of the Gucci shop. The Gucci shop is in full action. There we go. Camille TP with the Trinity Fork. GP nowhere to be found. And this is the beauty of snowballing through topside, my friends. That second TP comes in and then you can give it all back to bottom. But your bottom was in fact even all along. And now the game is in the grave. FlyQuest did a beautiful boat dive, but there is Reaper. I mean, there's Gangplank, leashing. You guys are talking way too much about Reaper. GP leashed. GP got dove when he had TP, could TP back. Then he face checked and died. Thank you, Warrington, for that subscription. I appreciate it. Still no Trinity was on GP. GP should look to freeze now if he can. Freeze the top lane. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it was a cannon wave. If it's a cannon wave, he could freeze. Let's hope it is a cannon wave for his sake. If he freezes, that's cool. You know, he has some breathing room here because mid is pushed. Bottom will be pushed too. He's slow pushing out, and now Camille can be the one that freezes. So against Gangplank, that is a good freezing opportunity, especially when you're the one with the TF. It's good to freeze because against GP, like him roaming doesn't do anything. Like, what the fuck does Gangplank do in a roam? He's gonna ult? Well, he can ult. You know, it's just fucking... It just... Doesn't that situation show that trading flashes was worth? Since flash on Senna probably wasn't going to peel the on a GP set versus how flash would be way better for Wildside to get away from TF Cam. I think that's a bit too deep. I would disagree. I think it just creates liability. Because during this entire time where they're trying to play into topside, he will still have no flash. Now Camille can freeze, as I mentioned. You know, there's certain criteria you need to fit in when... there's certain criteria that needs to be fit in order for you to be able to freeze. GP being useless in roams, FlyQuest having a hard time creating some kind of pressure because now there's a stopwatch on TF. There's also Graves that can clear waves. It's very easy to set up that kind of situation. Camille goes with the route instead where she's pushing top all the way and then hovering into mid lane. TSM should also always wait for Camille. Camille can pressure into mid on this wave that is coming in. So here, imagine Camille pressures into mid now and threatens potential all-ins onto Orianna. That would be beautiful. He's walking into topside. I'm not sure why. Whatever. Because now what is Broken Blade really accomplishing by just perma-pushing waves into the enemy? Are you just perma-pushing waves into the enemy? Why Swifties? Well, the reason you go Swifties on set is because he's very move speed reliant, and when you have a lot of runes that give you percentage move speed, that synergizes with flat move speed very, very well. So Gangplank now on Trinity Force, top wave lane is awkward, but now Broken Blade is here. Like imagine a world where he completely suffocated GP, GP wouldn't get Trinity Force, and he just kept the freeze. What would FlyQuest actually accomplish? I think FlyQuest would just panic. They would legit just panic. Now TSM get a dragon, that's a cloudy, and that's it. Is it possible to correctly freeze with timeout or runant? Not always. I would say the answer is more no than yes. It's very rare you can actually freeze with these things. Like eventually the wave will be broken. Still, you know, even though FlyQuest are behind, their 5v5 potential is quite good. They can do wombo combos, they have GP ult, they have Orianna getting Spellbinder soon, her AP numbers are going to be quite juicy. Camille has not reached the point where she is absurdly broken just yet. She also doesn't have any tenacity, so an Ashe Arrow, a Leona combo could definitely put Camille's life in jeopardy. So with that being said, this game still is open, but only because of how polarizing the compositions are. You have one side that wants to play a split push game, and one side that wants to play 5v5 games. But the fact that TSM managed to snag this Cloud Drake is definitely going to put a lot of... So basically, the time between Soul Drake and Elder Dragon, the more that extends, the better a split push composition is going to be, yeah, that's it. That's period. The better a split push composition is going to be, because the more drakes you can give up and the more drakes you have as leeway, the better it is. The more you can invest into diving side, pressuring turrets, and so forth. Right? When Soul Drake comes around, those are drakes that you have to fight. Right? You have to fight it, and then the split push composition is forced to group. But the idea of a split push composition is you gain more gold because you farm more, you contest more jungle, and you grab kills and you grab towers, right? While FlyQuest, what they need to do is they need to play a 4-1, they need to push through mid and then hover into one side, while TSM need to attack the side before that rotation from mid comes in. And that is very easy to do with a Camille and TF because they have so much of an engaged distance. Camille E is literally Nocturne rank ult, like rank 1 ult, right? And also, very silly, you know, another thing that you need to really do with Leona and Ashe, especially when you have Essence Reavers, you need to use your ultimates. You need to use your ultimates to even burn cooldowns. And I don't know why Solo doesn't freeze here. Once again, it's the same situation. Why is he unfreezing? His team is in full control over mid. There is no pressure at all here. Maybe sure, he's afraid of Herald, but what does he really accomplish by participating in that situation? I think this is something that FlyQuest can definitely defend, no problem. Here comes the TP from Camille. They're going for Orianna. She's quite overextended. I think it was a mistake from FlyQuest to hover into bottom side. We spoke about 4-1. They needed to pray from mid into top, let Orianna push, and then Orianna come into mid again. How does Fly kill a Camille? In a team fight, it's doable. This Camille doesn't have tenacity, but now she is getting a bit too strong. There's definitely ways to kill a Camille with the composition that FlyQuest have. I still firmly believe, even though the outcome of this game is like this, that FlyQuest composition is better. And I think in games that would be, played by better teams, I think the red side composition is going to win out most of the time. This is TSM being quite crazy, forgetting what the composition is about, because Camille has no spells, and now Solo is kind of running it down. There's no reason for Fly to make a continuation here. Still, looking at the top wave, this is very, very good for TSM. They get 2 turrets mid, and now Camille's just too fed. Yeah. Now Camille has reached breaking point. Like, she's gonna base now, and it's GG. Like, a lot of things happen in this game to make Camille this feds, and yeah, TSM definitely played a lot better, TSM surviving the bottom matchup somehow. It's magic. It's literally magic. Somebody called David Blaine, because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to replicate what just happened in this bot side game. Because the moment that dive bottom happens, it's just, you're put on such a timer as the Camille, but Solo made it easy, and then FlyQuest couldn't pressure bottom, and you know, it's hard. And now in this game state, we have a Cloud Drake spawning. TSM are way too strong. They have full control over the map. Double lift state is stronger than the Ashe somehow. Rakan has Mercury and QSS and he's super happy. Solo's gonna die again. No response at all from FlyQuest. When they're giving up mid prio against this composition, it is just a disaster. Since the bot dive wall has Santorin done, he has punched dragons. He has punched dragons and punched minions. And that's it. Maybe should have went Blade Ruin King to smash lane harder. Didn't need to. The lane was really over. Like, if you put Life and Ruler in that lane state, they will win you the game. They will win you the game even if you have Solo in the top lane. And this is a big worry of mine. If I would rate the NA teams, I would definitely put FlyQuest third coming into the World Championship. I think Team Liquid is second, and then I think TSM is first. But there's definitely a world where Team Liquid can do better than Team Liquid. But I just think that TSM play with a high level of variance. I think they play with a high level of variance. Like Team Liquid, you know exactly what you're getting when you're playing against Team Liquid. And that's a danger when exactly what you're getting is a very, very weak form of gameplay. You know? At least when we talk about the international stage. Keep this in mind. TSM bring a bit more variance. Like, they have high highs. They have some high highs, but also lower lows. Like, Bjergsen can have some good performances. Speaker can have some good performances. Double Lift, Biofrost, the entire roster can have some good performances. If the stars align for TSM, I can see a world where they take a game off of LGD, take a game or two off of Mad Lions. You know, they just play with a high level of variance. If Camille isn't accelerated, Fly should outscale, right? I think so, yeah. Well, outscale in the sense of in 5v5s they should be stronger. In split they should be losing always. I've not played Path of Exile that much. I've played one season of Path of Exile, the one with the portals. Like, you open portals, and these portals had like modifiers and like build maps. That was interesting, but Path of Exile is definitely a very meaty game that requires a lot of my brain power. So as a person, when I pick up a game, if I like it, I have a very addictive personality. If I pick up a game that I like and has a lot of depth to it, I kind of lose myself. I lose myself in it. And Path of Exile was definitely one of those games. I played a season of that. And as a beginner in that game, there's a lot of information to take in, right? There's a lot of information to take in as a beginner in Path of Exile. And then it just becomes such an explosion of possibility. It's just such an explosion of possibility. And it's so hard to... For me, with an addictive personality, when I pick up a game, I want to figure it out. For example, I played Slay the Spire, okay? So I played Slay the Spire, and I tried it once, and I didn't sleep for 3 days. Because I wanted to beat the shit out of that game. And I need to be very, very careful with the games that I test. Very, very careful. because I get devoured. Like I just get into games. So Path of Exile was one of those games where I played for 1 month and I just completely neglected everything. What ascension did you reach in Slay the Spire? I was like at the end. I was at the end, like 10 or something. Well, it's been quite some time ago. Have you ever played Stardew Valley? So yes, Stardew Valley is another example of me, like the way I played Stardew Valley. Okay, so let me tell you about Stardew Valley. How I played it was that I kept remaking my farm after 1 year because I wanted to achieve maximum efficiency. I was like, this day was shit. The RNG on this day was shit. I didn't fish enough fishes on this day, on day 7 when it was raining or whatever. And I was like, I need to remake. I was like, oh, this is a good run. I'm going to play with this run and see how far I can get. You know? Have you ever played Hades on Super Giant Games? No, I haven't. So I just min-max everything. I min-max everything I touch. And that makes a lot of games poisonous for me. And I need to be very careful when I try them. Very careful when I try them. The good part about this is that I can really get into something. The bad part about it is that I can't enjoy something without really getting into it. That's the problem. I can't enjoy something without really getting into it. Persona I just didn't like, so that helps too. If I just don't like something, I just kind of fuck it. Okay, well, let's continue. I forgot we're reviewing. Thank you very much, Kisoup. I don't know why I say your name like this, but yeah, it is what it is. So how's Osira's grind going? So that's a very fucking dangerous game too, man. I didn't sleep last night because I was busy fucking blackjacking random fucking bandits in the desert. You know? Just to get my thieving up. And then it's like, you have to fucking be alert doing it because you need to fucking use the lure bug to make sure that you're out of combat if you fuck up. And then you have to also fucking pickpocket twice when you knock him out. You know, I think the question was actually about Power of Evil. Oh. Well, what I think about Power of Evil, he's been North Americanified. I think it's alright. But I think Bjergsen is better. I think some of the other mid laners are better. Oh, okay. So you guys didn't want to hear about Path of Exile. Anyway, that was a little rant. Jensen or PoE? I think Jensen. Always has been. Alright, so we have the Cloud Drake. So yeah, like, there's no reason for TSM to actually fight this. No reason. But they're going for it. They feel confident. This is a Broken Blade without any tenacity. Good flash from Broken Blade. Gets out just at the right time. Bjergsen flashes. That's the arrow. And then boom, we have a 2 for 2. 2 for 2 with a 5k gold advantage. Keep this in mind, right? It's not the greatest 2 for 2 that you can take. Thank you very much, Truth Lol. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This, you subscribe for 2 months. That is nice. Thank you. This is sea shanty. But both sides assembled 5 players. It's the noble NA thing to fight now. So once again, you are creating a situation. Wow, Nestle Crunch, subscribe with Twitch Prime. I am Optimus Prime. I feed off of your Twitch Prime. Together with your Twitch Primes, we will defeat the Decepticons. Thank you very much for subscribing. I don't know why I did what I just did, but that's life, and that's the stream. Let's continue. So once again, Drake is taken. Look at this juicy mid-wave. Look at that juicy mid-wave. Boom. Look at the minions coming in. Red buff is spawning. You can start to control top side of the map. FlyQuest already lost to Drake, but then they go for the fight. I think this is an easy way of just giving your enemies an opportunity. This is an easy way to just give the enemy an opportunity. And that's it. Fight feel good though. Yeah, that's what it is. The fight felt good. The fight felt good. Look at the GP. So this GP got dunked on. His GP's ass is like gaping still. You know, it's like he got destroyed, and he's still look how valuable he is in these team fights. You know, very 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 valuable. You don't want to put him in a situation where he's valuable. I realized that my wording was very, very visual. Sorry. So now GP is at the bottom side. He has no Tipipse. And here comes Biofrost. And this is where TSM want to fight. In the outnumbering situations. And those outnumbering situations can easily occur. Because they have all mid towers. They can push all the way in mid. They can push from sides and then pressure. Like Wild Turtle has no cleanse, right? While there is no cleanse, Leona, they can't push mid. They don't win mid prio. TSM push mid prio. They have no turrets on the enemy side because TF has ult on and Camille is coming from this angle. So they have full control. They can always put themselves in a situation where they are, getting smacked on the noodle. Fly seem like they need some coaching. Well, thing is, I would say FlyQuest is a well-coached team. Honestly, I would say they're a well-coached team because they've won a lot of games through decisions. They've gotten to finals twice through decision when in reality I think their individual players are not that great. I think Santorin and Ignar play very well together, and that gives them a lot of good vision. I agree with the notion that Santorin was the best performing jungler in North America, this split. Barring I haven't watched all of the games, so I could be wrong, right? But the issue with FlyQuest is that the lane phase is very rough. They have a very hard time in lane phase. I think this is indeed a player gap. Solo was having a very hard series. He was really having a hard time. They can't be doing this in the final, sure. Well, yeah. All right. So what happened to BB? BB. Oh my goodness! 925 worker. Thank you very much for subscribing. That's a hype train. I haven't seen a hype train in forever. That is interesting. Scam train. That's a good way to put it. I think it's definitely a scam train. LVC. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Artificial, converted from Prime Gaming sub to Tier 1 sub. That also deserves a big fat thank you. Thank you. So, okay. So what was the mistake here? What was the mistake here, ladies and gentlemen? And everybody else? What was the mistake here? What was the mistake here? Too deep? Okay. That's... Alright. That's a start. Watching NA? Okay. Funny man, funny. Ulted the wrong player. Camille no support. No Rakan there. What have we been talking about this entire game? What have we been talking about this entire series? Or this entire game, not this entire series. Why is Camille in mid lane? Now that is a good question. Why is Camille in mid lane? Why are they mid? Why are they trying to team fight? Chobin50 has been listening. Don't fight 5-5 mid. Esa Kamui, you've been saying the right things. Slow down and breathe. Yeah, that's a good first step. NARM, yes. So, what do we want to look for here? There's no reason to fight in this space. What is the best fight that you can possibly take? It's when the enemy face checks you. The face is definitely the weakest spot of anyone, you know? The face is the defense of the brain. Whatever. You get my analogy, right? Should they 1-3-1 or 2-2-1? They can do both. They can do both. So what do you want to look for here as TSM? You want to put yourself in a situation. Let's pull up a map. Let's make a bigger map. Let's make a bigger little map. Let's bring up a little bigger map. Rift kit. Rift kit. Where is the rift kit? Boom. Rift kit. LOL planner. Alright. Rift kit. So, the situation is that the enemy is currently locked inside of their base. Exiting is very dangerous. Zul'Dak. That is what I'm looking for. Yes. They can threaten Baron and ambush and red buff jungle. Yes. So here, the key thing is, right now, TSM has prio everywhere. They have full control over this side, and breaking inhibitor turrets is not possible. Imagine a world where now it's very awkward. They pushed in all the way, right? And the way you want to do it is you want to make sure that you have a little pink here, a little pink here, and then you make sure you have maybe a pink here, or maybe you can put a pink here even if you're feeling frisky. Pink here, right? Yeah, there's a lot of pinks that you can put that are very powerful. You put your green wards, into this area, so you see all the entry points, right? This is where you want to put your green wards, and then now, the moment you've pushed in all the way, everything goes dark. Everything goes dark. Okay? Everything goes dark. And now FlyQuest, I have to go on a mission. They are in a position where, okay, we have to. I can't. How do I grab these little things? Jesus. And now they have to face check. Blue trinket, wild Herald. Oh, we only have one blue trinket. Fuck. We didn't choose it. We didn't choose it. Oh, we're face checking into here? We're trying to enter here? Wow. Camille is still pushing bottom. What do we do? What do we do? We're getting suffocated. We're trying to defend the Nash. They're not doing Nash. GP is getting dove. Boom. What do we do? They do have Ash, so it's a little easier. Sure. That's a fair point. They have Ash. It's a little bit easier. But the last thing you want to do is dive mid. That's the last thing you want to do. That should be the last thing on your list. Like, sure, waiting in base, doing nothing, go AFK, disconnect. I know the funny guys are gonna show up. Oh, so you can just disconnect and that's better than diving mid. No, you get my point. You get my point. Diving mid is just... What about pick before securing the objective? That's the whole point, right? You make the enemy face check and then, you cut them in half. That is the point. You cut them in half. You get the favorable fight because the enemy has to face check. You have full vision control. And then, Camille can still pressure here. She has enough lifesteal to maybe chip away, right? You just pick them under their mid inhibit turret. But what does that mean? That's not really reasonable. I see you. It's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean to pick him? Well, I feel BB saw a play. Well, this is just mindless fighting. This is mindless fighting. This is not rational. This play is not rational at all. This is not rational. This is not rational at all. So they're going for Ashe. She's far and away. Camilla's collapsing. Camilla's entering this on her own, right? She's entering this on her own. GP ult lands, and Broken Blade dies. This is not necessary. This is not necessary. Not necessary at all. Wild Turtle is low HP. Leona's low HP. Okay. What on earth? Okay. Alright. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Is FlyQuest winning position now? No. It was just a mistake. Like, they gave up Camille kill and it's breathing room, but yeah, I don't think I need to analyze that one. Alright. And that's a teleportation device. Okay. So they went. Like, they wanted to catch the Ashe, right? They wanted to catch the Ashe. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I understand the thought process. I understand the thought process of this, right? You catch Orianna off guard and you want to go for the Ashe that is running down mid. For sure. I get it. It's not like it's completely crazy what Broken Blade is doing. I'm just saying there's easy ways to win the game. You know? It's okay. But then now, like, they're just running it down. They just kind of ran it down here. They got some breathing room. They got some breathing room. They could have reset. They could have gotten HP back. But here they just continue to run it down. And now we have the 1-1-3. I enjoy that. It's good to put your points of strength in two locations that are the furthest away from each other, right? Because they are doing 3-1-1, they're putting 3 in the bottom, forcing a reaction from these guys, and Camilla's pressuring top. Which is cool. It's cool. I enjoy that. That's a good one from TSM. Good barrel there, Solo. It's just Solo seems pretty tilted here. Yeah, I didn't speak a lot about itemization. I focus a lot of things, but Liandry is very troll. This is like, obviously you want to go for death cap here. Death cap is the only viable item here. There's no way you choose anything else here. Like, you just have to buy death cap. Getting Liandry's third here, like, if the enemy has Cho'Gath, Sion, and Chewbacca, like, Chewbacca is a champion that has just 20k HP. I don't know, man. You have the two items with the most amount of AP in the game, and you're not buying that cap. Do you think Rakan Senna is even good lane? It's not a good lane. To pick that into Leona and Ashe, it's basically Doublelift and Bifrost being in Champions Select saying, these guys are fucking trash. We are going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And it turns out to be true. Yeah, by the way, did you guys notice something here? Power Evil hard choked. Cause look at this. Power of Evil used Spellbinder after the combo. Look at this. Slow motion for all of you. If that was a Deathcap double, it would have been dead. Well, to be fair, Deathcap is a bit more expensive. But he would have a little bit more AP, I believe, if he had two needlessly large rods. Which is similar in gold. Like you can sell I think it's worth it to sell a Doran's Ring for that. But he doesn't use a Spellbinder. Boom, look at the Spellbinder, it's still not activated. Boom, the ult lands, and there's the W, and... I don't know what you are trying to say, Dreadpack TV, but I'm just talking about, you know, the item of choice being Deathcap 3rd here. So yeah, TSM knocking down slowly. That's probably a kill with Spellbinder, yeah. Here's BB, doing BB things. A bit too far. He's no rush. Like always match the movement of the enemy. There's no reason to be here in Zimbabwe. He's in Zimbabwe, definitely. He's in Zimbabwe. Boom. Solo with a solo kill. Yeah, Spellbinder gives you AP too. And then how does Senna die on bottom now? Senna dies on bot too? Like what on earth is happening? What on earth is happening here? You could just take it easy. Just take it easy. But they got 2 inhibs, you know, so it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. But this Leandri buy is just... What on earth, man? And now he's going into Void Staff. My goodness. Wow. Wild. Absolute madness. Wait, what happened now? I looked away for 1 second. Why is Rich Homie Kwan out here, man? What's he doing out here, man? What on earth, man? What? Wow. I think the reason he goes Yumos is because I think he's running cut down. Still running cut down. You know, having 2 Leandris on your team reduces the value of Leandris? Did you guys know that? Because Leandris debuff doesn't stack. Why Lord Dominic's on Senna? The enemy has a lot of armor. Like Senna's going to be doing a lot of hitting on Leona and the set. The burn doesn't stack, yeah, it doesn't stack. But the madness, yeah, just to go for Deathcap, man. He could have had Deathcap right now. He had Deathcap now. He would 600 AP. It would have been juicy. But now instead he's sitting on 400. Lord Dominic's is insanely OP on Senna, guys. Insanely OP. It's just only physical damage spells. Almost 0 armor on Fly? Original Mr. Haste. That's a lie. That's a lie. Senna probably has like 70% crit. Why does she not go IE? She gains more damage out of Last Whisper. She gets more damage out of Last Whisper and Lord Dominic's than IE. The function of IE is not the same on Senna as other champions. She doesn't get the same amount of damage out of crits. Well, first and foremost, Senna. So this is Senna basic attack can critical strike, but they only do 130% and then plus 16% AD physical damage. So crits already are weaker for Senna. So crit is not that valuable. Right? What armor does Fly have? So let's take a look. So we have a Ninja Tabi. Okay, Ninja Tabi. We have a Stoneplate. We have a Orianna E. That is almost max rank. We have also a Cloth Armor, Aftershock, and on top of that W. Yeah, Deadman's Plate, sorry. With that being said, the final piece of the puzzle is, let's take a look at some levels. Orianna, level 16 Wild Turtle, okay. Ashe, we see Ashe. Ashe armor at max rank is 83. That's very big. That's very big. So let's take a look at the level 16. She has 75 armor. That's just a whole lot of armor. And she has armor runes. Yes. Leona. Leona base armor. She's in this game now level 12. Level 12. Level 12, Leona has 82. 82 flat. Cloth armor. Add cloth armor to that. And then we have Aftershock. And on top of that, we have a Eclipse. So with this, right? So the thing is, you can proc Aftershock, then you can activate your W for the bonus armor to synergize, but maybe it's better to W and then Aftershock, because Aftershock also works with bonus armor. I believe it's better to W first and then Aftershock. You get more out of it. Can you explain the reason behind Rakan going QSS instead of Mikhail's? So I think he's just worried about getting one-shotted because he's the one that needs to enter fights first most of the time. And that's why he went for this item. Already, if you look at some of the champions, like these champions are very slippery, so they are not going to, arrow is not going to be a big deal here. Does LDR stack on teammates like BC also? The penetration only works for the item holder. Yeah. There's already a cleanse on Senna, so you'll be fine. Black Cleaver actually makes LDR worse. Yeah, it does. Isn't Black Cleaver higher value then when you have Graves and Camille? Well, the thing is with Senna, once again, Senna is running Cutdown. For those who don't know Cutdown, Cutdown is my cousin, and he's a rune. This is Cutdown. Senna is running Cutdown. Senna's base HP is one of the lowest in the game, so she's trying to get as much value out of this as possible. Buying Black Cleaver reduces the value out of that. So this is, she gets the full value of 15%, and Senna, if we look at her base HP, Senna's base HP, Senna's base HP is ridiculously low, very very low. So look at 18, it's very very low. Ashe has 200 more. So is Edge of the Night not efficient on Senna? It is in situations where you need HP. So sometimes people run Bloodline. Some people, Senna players run Bloodline and then they want to get HP. When they need HP in specific games, you can go for something else. Since Cutdown is becoming pretty meta, does that mean it will become more standard rune with Cull start on some ADCs? The key thing is AD carries have different levels of base HP. So Ashe is 570. And then you have Aphelios. Aphelios has pretty low base HP. He has 530, right? So that's Aphelios could be a cut down cull user. But then you have champions like Draven, right? Draven couldn't use cut down even if he wanted to, because he starts on 605 HP. Right? So there's some AD carries that can use cut down and cull, and some don't. Draven could be one, you know. Draven could be one. Draven is not one, I mean. Jhin is also one that can't. He has very high base HP. Very high base HP. Jinx, I don't know Jinx base HP. Let's take a look. Jinx base HP 610. That's a motherfucker, man. She can't use cut down. Right? Like she could, like obviously if the enemy has two tanks or whatever, she can, but in lane it's not that great, right? So there's no justification for starting cull. But if you know enemy buys Dorans and you just start cull, well, Caitlyn has also very low base HP. Her base HP is quite low, if I remember correct. 510, so that's very low. Very, very low. Where is Jinx storing all that HP? Vayne? Vayne, does she have low HP? I don't know. Yeah, very low HP. But fuck Vayne, don't play Vayne. Shouldn't cut down be turbo good on Ezreal? Well, Ezreal cut down is not bad. Not bad at all. It's a good rune on Ezreal. What about getting bent over in lane with cull? Yeah, that's also a real thing. Yesterday, I played a game. I played Velka support and I accidentally bought Doran's Ring. But that Doran's Ring made me survive like 4 or 5 all-ins that game. So that was like the most valuable Doran's Ring I've seen in a long time. I accidentally bought it. And I survived with 30 HP, 50 HP. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. Like I just played 4 games of Velkos in a row. And then I was queued to be the AD carry. And I switched with my support because he locked in Jhin accidentally. And then I just bought Doran's Ring out of reflex. That game was an L if I remember. Yeah, it was a loss. It was a loss. I'm just saying, you know, that HP can matter. That HP can definitely matter. Senna is ridiculously strong at this point in the game. She has a lot of stacks and she's just very, very happy to be. You know, a lot of cases, you know, if we consider what did Graves actually accomplish this game, Graves was strong. That's what he accomplished. Graves was strong. To put some context behind that, the purpose of some champions in games is sometimes just to put the other champions in a position to win the game. Graves was strong enough to solo the Heralds, to clear all the camps, to never get invaded on, and to defend dives. He was strong. He was strong. Graves strong. Right? The reason I'm saying this is because often people criticize picks like Olaf, like Volibear and Set. People criticize these picks. Oh, the champions are scale better than these picks. The thing is, the winning pieces of TSM's composition is Twisted Fate and Camille. Those are the pieces in their composition that are going to win them the game. Any champions that are going to help them do that are strong champions. Sometimes you have an Olaf, right? If Olaf transitions you into a point in a game where 3 other of your other champions outscale the enemy, that's enough. Champions that transition you to points in the game where you are winning are very important. A very good example could be G2 versus... Let me just finish this game before we go to that point. Sure, I don't like Olaf now. I don't like Olaf now in the current meta. I don't enjoy it too much. But it's just about the straight up point. So yeah, there's no reason to fight. Like here, if Camille just takes bottom inhib, the game is lost, right? The chances of FlyQuest winning drops down to about 2%. But now they get caught, and now the fight happens. Maybe even TSM win this fight because of how fed they are, but It's more to the point of how you should like properly structurally win a game. But TSM are so goddamn fed at this point, so it doesn't matter, right? Okay, game finished. So we have G2 versus Fnatic, game number 2 in spring? I think it's spring. Game 2 spring. It's not in the finals. It wasn't the final. Spring regular split. Regular split. Maybe week 8? Maybe week 8? Fnatic. Maybe week 7? Or maybe it's this. Maybe it's this. Alright. No, it's not this. This is the wrong year. 2020. Here it is. Here. Yes, this is the one. So, the thing is, oh, here I'm on the desk. I'm on the desk, man. I'm even on the desk. Oh, shit, but look at my hair, man. Look at my hair. I fucking look delicious. I look delicious, man. Oi, oi, oi. Alright. So here, people were like, why Olaf? Why don't you pick a champion that scales? Scales good. Your team comp scales good, so why don't you pick a champion that also scales good? Well, the issue is people heavily underestimate how much Olaf did in this early game. Olaf prevents a lot of dives. He doesn't get invaded on even though his lanes get pushed in everywhere. He doesn't get invaded on, he doesn't get pressured even though he is in a position where his lanes are completely losing. Olaf is remaining strong. That's what I meant. Olaf is strong. Right? It sounds very, very barbaric, but Olaf's strong. If they had, let's say, a Sejuani or whatever, a Karthus or whatever you can think of, they would get run over. They would get run over, absolutely run over. Can happen, can happen. Olaf gives them possibilities, defends them, right? Without Olaf, this game would be very, very hard. Well, also, of course, Fnatic ran it down and they could have probably won this game anyway. But yeah. You get me? And then sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's the opposite. If you look at JDG and what they like to do, they were a team that played a lot of Galio mid, right? JDG played a lot of Galio mid. What does that mean? Galio mid doesn't scale that well, right? Galio is a champion that supports other champions. Galio is a champion that delivers and makes other champions excel. So always together with Galio, they pair it together with a jungler that can farm heavily. Every game farm heavily. They love to do it, right? Galio, Camille is beautiful, but also with the jungle synergy needs to be there. Galio this game plays for his teammates. And look at the shift, right? Look at the shift right away. Here, Yagao is playing Echo, right? Yagao is playing Echo. Echo against Syndra cannot play for other people. He needs a jungler that plays for him. He needs a jungler that plays for him. So Lee Sin is locked in instead. Sure, they lost this game, but that's not the point. It's just about the mindset. There are certain champions that play for other champions. If Echo is ahead this game, even though Echo is a terrible pick here, Echo is not a good pick here. You're playing against Volibear Mordekaiser. That's something that you don't want to play against as Echo. That's not the point. Certain champions play for other ones, right? If Echo is ahead of Syndra in this matchup, it doesn't matter the state of Lee Sin or how Lee Sin scales, right? Doesn't matter. Here, Echo and Volibear. Okay. Syndra, Lee Sin. These are champions. They are playing a lot of Lee Sin with champions that synergize well with Lee Sin. Lee Sin plays for LeBlanc. Lee Sin plays for Syndra. Volibear plays for Echo. Lee Sin plays for Echo. Here, this is an awkward draft because Orianna is not the perfect champion to have like a function in this duo. This works. TF can play for the Lilia. Galio can play for the Lilia. Galio can play for the Kindred. Lucian can play for the Evelynn. Right? Anyhow, that ends our little review session of TSM. I think that's enough. CC complements junglers. It's not as simple as CC, right? It's not as simple as just CC. It's just about there are certain champions that can sacrifice and still be very powerful. There are certain champions that can give up things for the sake of others and still be very powerful. And that is a specific school of champions. Nautilus mid was the best, is a great example of that. Nautilus mid is something that can give up, but without the teamwork of his jungler, he doesn't have any threat in the game. Same with Galio, TF. These champions need to have power from elsewhere. So they give up their own tempo to gain power elsewhere. And then it will always be compensated in other shapes and forms. So for example, Galio loses a lot of mid lane matchups. Most of them in the current meta. That's why he gives up himself. He gives up himself for the sake of the Lilia. Lilia gets ahead, and then Lilia will convert that into something greater. That's the point of Renekton Nidalee too. And then the way Galio remains useful is that he has possibilities to fake pressure with the jungler and so forth. Nautilus the same way. Nautilus can contest early levels, but then afterwards the only threat Nautilus has is to set up ganks. If Nautilus doesn't have a jungler, he's not a mid laner. He just doesn't exist, right? And he's been nerfed many times, so he maybe just doesn't exist at all anymore, but you get my point. Without the pressure of having a jungler, you're not going to be useful with a lot of these champions. The same with Twisted Fate. I know we just watched some NA games with Twisted Fate, and it's completely different over there because, you know, Bjergsen just got fucking tempo after tempo after tempo to fucking TP and TP and TP. Well, you get my point. Yeah, they're enablers. Same with here. Galio wave clear is not OP. Galio has prio in some lanes, maybe 1-5, but then after, like Galio doesn't have an ult in 1v1, right? He doesn't have an ult. Does not have an ult in a 1v1. That's the easiest way to put it. Same with LeBlanc. LeBlanc loses a lot of 1v1s, if not most of them. But LeBlanc has the best gank setup in the game. Maybe Camille is arguable. Maybe Kiana is arguable. But you get my point. LeBlanc gank setup is crazy. Especially after 6. W into R into QE. Right? Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. The amount of distance you cover with this is crazy. You're never safe if you pass mid, right? So how you beat it is you need to have your jungler around always. Same with Camille. She covers distance. Can you beat it with hard pushes? Well, most mid laners are going to win 1v1 against LeBlanc. That's the thing. But LeBlanc can choose when she fights. Lucian is a champion that can fend his own. He wins most matchups 1 to 5. And that secures Evelyn's early game. And then afterwards, Evelyn is 6. And then she's fucking strong. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. Well, okay. That ends the discussion of today. Oh, man. Oh, man. Epic Pen is trolling me so hard. Oh, my God, man. I can't press. Okay, now I have my cursor back. That is fucking troll, man. I was trying to press this button to get my cursor back, but instead it was just painting it yellow. And that's pretty troll. Okay.